Hey guys, this is Steven from The Happy Profits, also at Stephen Buis on YouTube. And you can also look up The Happy Profits on YouTube, just like you're looking at it probably right now. But basically, we're a nice place where you want to find the right place to learn how to place the right trade. We just try to keep it nice and simple. And sometimes people put a lot of complexities to things, and by you getting over those complexities, I think you can find a lot easier way of trading, because sometimes we do analysis paralysis and thus we don't get any better. So I'm just going to give you, and we're just going to read it together. Here's a simple, straightforward routine you can follow each morning to get fully prepared at the market open. So what do you do an hour before the market open? Usually that's 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Biggest thing is you want to check market sentiment. You can start checking the S&P 500, that's SPX stock. You can look at NASDAQ futures and any other relevant global indices to gauge the overall trend market. So obviously if they're going up, great. And if they're going down, great. And if they're indifferent, because if you look at the four major indices and two are going up, two are going down, that's usually not a good day trading stock day, because of obviously you're getting conflicting information. If they're all going up, good day to look for longs, and if it's going all down, then maybe that's a better way of looking for some shorting opportunities. The other thing is you want to start reviewing news and looking for some key news that are impacting stocks, whether it be earning reports, analysts of upgrades and downgrades, some economic reports, and some overnight news from credible sources, or maybe like after hours gainers that will be relevant in the morning, and then possibly continue on to the open market. Good places that for credible sources, Bazinga Pro and CNBC or Bloomberg. Or if you're like on a platform, I currently use Webull. I definitely want to read the news about a stock that is uptrending if I do catch it before the market open. Identifying major movers. Well, you can use pre-market scanners like FinViz, Trade Ideas, NASDAQ pre-market gainers to find some stocks with unusual volume. And that's really just a good sign, and or just significant pre-market price moves. Also, you've heard that maybe as possibly called a gap up. So that's what you're really looking for. And then the other thing right here, you would definitely want to select a couple candidates. Now, I go through Webull Gainers every morning, and I look at about 20 stocks, and I can narrow it down to about 5 to 10, and I probably narrow it down to 4 or 2 by the time the market opens, because after quickly you can go through 20 and just see there's more strong momentum. You'll actually see a full chart. That's very important. And then you want to focus on those with definitely high volume and clear news catalysts. Nothing that's kind of junky. So if junky is like, it's just something that it's up, maybe it's just running a small trend, and at the open the real market is not going to trade it into the manner you're possibly looking for. So now we're about 45 minutes before the technical, preparation. So what I start looking for is I analyze key levels. I mark support and resistance levels. If you do have some functions that automatically do that for you, please use those. Otherwise, just look for little lows and little highs, and you'll start clearly seeing support. And then at the top, you'll look for resistance, and usually those act as support and resistance. If a stock goes over resistance, it does usually check if it is support. So you definitely want to look for pre-market highs and lows. Also, you want to check the previous day's key levels, and also include some pivot points. Pivot points, you can actually find that as an indicator, and you can put that on there. And usually pivot points are calculated from the previous day to show where usually price is a magnet to the next day. And then also key psychological levels are whole dollars and half dollar areas. The other thing is you want to start looking and see if you see some chart patterns or some other indicators that usually use for each list of your stock. Check for patterns, whether it be flags and pennants, ascending triangles, and add a key indicator, basically like a simple moving average or an exponential moving average. Good key one really obviously is a 200 if you're shorting, because usually a stock will go all the way back to normal, which is usually just a running 200 EMA, which is 200 candles back. And then if it has a lot more high activity, you would definitely be over 50 moving average, which definitely shows bullish attitude because it's only looking at 50 candles back then. Obviously 20 and 9 or even more bullish sentiment because they're running a lot higher because they're now looking at even more immediate averaging of the candles or the time frames to actually show that they are persisting upward. Also, you want to start setting alerts at those price areas, those key levels, support and resistance, because you're going to see some of those stocks hit those areas, and then you can be notified so you don't have to really watch all the stocks all the time. You'll hear a little beep. Then hopefully, if you have a good program like Webull, you'll see it, and it'll actually tell you which stock hit that alert. And then you can mosey over there and you make a decision, because hopefully, obviously, this hour before the market open, that you're actually preparing that much to make quick decisions because you have actually prepared. Not making quick decisions just as a rash or an impulse. That's not too bright, and it will provide no profitability in the future because you're randomly just guessing and there's something hot over there. And if you prepare for all those stocks, then you're prepared to make those decisions because you've already made some plans what to do in those situations. So right here, now we're about 30 minutes before the open. You want to start defining those entries and exit plans for each stock. You want to decide on it, where I'm going to enter, where I'm going to take profit, and where I'm going to take a stop loss based on technical levels and volatility. So if you think it's at support and it has a chance to run to the next resistance that you've already charted up from pre-market, or a next level based on a fib, basically showing you a possible target 1 or a possible target 2. Because if the stock starts going down, you want to have your risk. And your risk is basically if it goes wrong. You want both plans, whether it goes up or down, and you've entered the stock, you've made your plan, you still want in and outs. And both outs should be calculated. Otherwise, you're going to sit there and get emotional about it. You're going to hope it bounces back, and those emotions are not going to work well. Because when you're in a stock, losing in this and winning, and then you start bringing in hope. Where if you've already made your plan, well, let's say you plan it wrong for 10 days straight. The cool thing is you learn from 10 days straight that maybe that stop loss is too tight because someone told you. And I always like to put it at a nearest low, because if it's now passing that nearest low and a little bit lower, it is now downtrending. And my hypothesis was wrong. I also want to start calculating position sizes based on your risk tolerance. You know, some people say you should only risk 2% of your capital on a maneuver. So if you have $5,000, that's $100. So you definitely want to say, okay, I'm willing to lose $100 on this, and possibly for a gain of $200 or whatever your take profit is. And then you want to plan your position size that will align with your capital and your risk management rules. Now we're about 15 before the open. These are like the final checks, your mindset prep. You want to review your list, possibly even narrow it down to those final 2, possibly 3 or 5 top stocks with the best potential setups. And then you want to clear your mind. Before I come in the room and do live trading, I do live trading every day. I actually walk around our little park about 5 or 10 minutes just to clear my head, because when the speed comes, I just want clear decisions. Sometimes if it's a little frantic or something like that, or you're maybe not feeling under the weather, you don't have to trade. Now, personally, I'm going to call out stocks every day, so I do a certain routine to make sure myself is getting there nice and calm, nice disciplined approach. You want to remind yourself to follow your strategy, respect your stop losses, and avoid impulse trades. Because at the open, there's always going to be an impulse trade. We have people in our chat room that will call it out. You look at it and you see one candle, and then I write good luck. Usually I will tell you about 5-10 minutes before the open, I will tell you where the prospects are going to go. I will clearly look at levels that need to be broken for upward momentum, and then clear levels below if you're planning on shorting the stock or possibly using it as a stop loss. So if it does not go in the way we plan, that we're not risking all of our money all at one time. All right, so this is where you want to double check that you have your alert set up. You have all your chart layouts open, ready to go. If you have some certain platforms that have one chart, if you look around, sometimes they'll let you put 4. Sometimes on another screen to the right, I put 4. And then on my main screen, I have 1. So if I see one that looks good, I will pull up the ticker on the main chart and make a decision because I at least have 4 charts over here, or 3 to 5, or how many you think. Trust me, it's a lot better to get it down to 1 or 2 with your highest probability setup that you know and trust, and you've traded long enough and you've seen it long enough, and you still want maybe the couple on the other side, and that's it. All right, so you basically want all those alerts so you can be really ready to focus with all your plan and ready to go. And now we have the market open. About a minute or 2 right before the open, you want to start observing the initial price action. And you go, well, how did each stock react to the first few minutes? First 5 minutes is very telling. You'll have some false breakouts. You might get caught up in volatility and just get excited, and you didn't let the stock and or the market actually choose a path. And if you can just calm down for 5 or 10 minutes, sometimes 15, a path will be chosen for you, and then you just follow that trend. You might be late to an entry, but at least you didn't jump in when you didn't really know, and the stock didn't have an overall tendency to go up or down. And obviously, if you're trading long, you want to let the stock go down before you start possibly looking at entries of going back up. Now, obviously, you want to start entering trades after you've observed the initial price action. You want to start entering trades to your plan. You want to follow your preset entries and your points, unless they've slightly adjusted about 5-10 minutes before, and hopefully you've adjusted those already. And you want to start looking at those, managing those positions as planned. You want to adapt, but you really want to stick to your rules. If a stock doesn't behave as expected, be ready to adjust, maybe not taking the trade. Or you take the trade and you maybe slide up a stop loss. Sometimes I choose a break even. A break even is a great trade for me. I didn't lose because I definitely don't think I was going to gain if the stock reacted and I'm already in the trade. I will take a stop loss of a even break. I will slide both in, the take profit and the stop loss, and take the minimalist loss I can so my capital is preserved. Now, obviously, usually if you're in a cash account, you have to wait a day for that cash to clear, but it's a lot better. And if you're under PDT, I would definitely lose a trade at a break even instead of losing a trade just to save a trade. Because then you have hope, you have all these other thoughts, and you know, if you miss a trade and you've already wasted a trade, and you have another day you can use a trade, and you might have to wait 1 or 2 or 3, 4 days because you're under PDT, which is under $25,000. You're going to find out that it was better for you to watch those 3 days. Because if you're making bad plans in the first place, maybe you don't have a system. You need a great system. I have a great system that you use well. I have 4 rules. I follow those 4 simple rules all the time. And then I have 4 criteria for a stock to go up, and I have the same exact 4 criteria for a stock to go down, just in reverse analytics. So I just want to give you all a basic routine that if you don't have one, here it is. We do have a great chat room. If you need a great positive room where you have a lot of people helping you find those stocks that are moving, you have a lot more eyes here. We'll be glad to help you. And then also, if you need a live webinar, we do live webinars where we actually take trades, plan trades together, and then maybe you can copy a trader while you're trying to still learn. Take small trades, get your feet wet, and get a decent system that you're nice and calm instead of frantic or making bad decisions, because you're basically making the decision of one person. And then when you have some experienced traders, and it's just some traders throwing out a lot, some tickers that are moving, you can make those proper decisions and make a profitable life so you can have that freedom. So y'all have a great night. Just wanted to throw this out when I thought of it. I thought it would be a good little write-up for y'all, and just to show you basically my hour before the market, before I make any moves, that I'm actually prepared. I'm not fast. I'm just reacting to whatever the stock did because I did do my planning and my due diligence. Y'all have a great night. This is Stephen from The Happy Profits. Y'all have a great one. Thank you.